Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to read part of C.W. Hobley's book, Bantu Beliefs and Magic. And in this part, he's talking about the issue of perjury in the Agikuyu Republic. Now, the concept of perjury, and I've talked about this in another video, I was talking about, I think, the Somali society. The idea of perjury is at the core of the judicial process that we have in very many societies today, even Kenya, UK, US, Uganda, Tanzania. Think of it, any modern society. The concept of perjury is at the center of the judicial process. And what perjury means is that the law requires that when you are called upon to give testimony, you should be truthful. You should not lie. You should not tell untruths that are going, of course, to impact the case in one way or another. You are expected to say things the way you know them, not the way you want them to be. And I said in another video, initially, it was never clear to me what that oath was. I thought it was just like, oh, help me, God, and so that the system relies on God to punish you. It's actually not, that's not what it is actually. The system does not rely on God to punish you if you say or you give, you lie on stand. What happens is it's actually a criminal offense if you lie on the stand. If later on it can be proven that you actually lied while you knew that you were lying, then you can be jailed. So that's the concept of perjury. Now, among the Akikuyu, that was also an expectation because the Akikuyu used to have these cases that will be presided over by the Kiama of Adamaki or the Kiama of the Adhuriauku, as they were called, the topmost court of appeal. This is a republic, remember. This is a commonwealth with all the systems that modern commonwealths have. Kenya, Uganda, think of it. The Kikuyu Republic had the same. The Akamba Republic, the Kisi Republic, the Kalenjin Republic, the Nandi. There was no Kalenjin Republic. There was Nandi Republic. There was Kipsigis Republic. All these had these systems in place. So this idea of the court process we have today did not come with the British. They just brought us their form, their way of doing it, but the core tenets are the Africans had them before the arrival of the colonial power. So in this case, we are looking at the perjury, the idea of perjury, and it was something that was taken so serious among the Akikuyu or in the Akikuyu Republic, such that they had special oath to be taken when you are giving evidence before a court process. He says, the oath of the sacred bead, chuma cha mchungu in Kikuyu. This oath or ordeal belongs to the same class as those described in the writer's work, Ethnology of the Akamba, vis-a-vis the Kimadi or Kuringa, the Engi ceremonies. If one man is in debt to another and repudiates his debt, the creditor goes to the elders and demands that they may both be given the ordeal of the chuma cha mchungu. Chuma is the Kikuyu word for the bead. So if two people are disagreeing over a debt, one is saying you gave me this amount, the other one is saying no, I gave you this amount, there is this disagreement. So to find the truth, the two can be invited to give testimony before the council of elders or the senate or the magistrates. Now, the bead used for this purpose must be one of the particular kind which has been handed down from past ages and is evidently believed to be of magical value. Several of the clans in Kikuyu are alleged to possess specimens of this bead, each one being in charge of a particular elder. They are said to be reddish in color and rather long in shape. Endeavors have been made to get a specimen for the examination, but it has not been possible to locate one. The elders state that they have not seen one used for some years. Chuma cha mchugu must not be kept in the house, but is hidden away in the bush. In particular, it is like the kidati, of course, of the Akamba. Now, this writer seems like he was really interested to see this bead, but he never got to see it. The elders could not allow him to see it. Seems like this is something that was kept very secret. Maybe still around, I don't know. Could be they still exist somewhere in Kikuyu land, but they are not seen, they are not exposed, nobody sees them. Now, he does give a note somewhere in this book where he says that these beads, going by how they were described to him, these objects seems like they came from Egypt, ancient Egypt, and they were carried downward, and they've been with the people for a very long time. Now, he does not suggest that the Akikuyu came from Egypt, but he says these particular items came from Egypt, which is very interesting. Of course, those are his own opinions. And of course, everything he says here we have to take with a pinch of salt, because we can see clearly that he was either not given information, or he most likely was misled on a few of these things. So we have to try to understand these things with that backdrop. To return, however, to the ceremonial connected with this issue, with this use, on the appointed day, the creditor and the debtor meet the elders. The latter sit in a circle, and the former sit on the ground in the middle, facing each other. Each takes a piece of fine grass and places it inside the aperture in the bead, and swears, as the case may be, that he lent a cow or that he borrowed a cow. If he testifies falsely, may he be eaten by the bead, i.e. destroyed. Sometimes the bead is held in the hand, sometimes it's placed on the ground between the two parties. So a day is picked, the two people who cannot disagree come, they sit, and then the elders sit in a circle, and these two are in the middle, and then the bead is put at the center, and then they do this ceremony. And of course, the goal is to get to the truth. And so they are sworn so that the truth can be found, and the person who is lying is going to be destroyed. He says, perjury is believed to result in the death of the perjurer, and furthermore, serious harm, even death, to his near relatives. So the crime of perjury in the Akikuyu society could result in your death and the death of those close to you. So this is a crime that was taken to be so serious. And even today in modern societies, it's a serious crime, even though often it's not, people are not actually charged that often unless people bring it up. But often people can go to court, they can lie on stand, and it's kind of like ignored. But in the books of the penal code and the legal documents, it's actually a serious crime that will warrant you being imprisoned if it's found that you took an oath and then you lied. But often we rarely see people actually being sentenced for perjury. If a man who has perjured himself by his oath dies, his brother by the same parents will promptly pay the debt, and then call in the elders to remove the curse or tahu which the perjury has inflicted. To effect this lustration, the sacred bead has to be brought to the village. A sheep is killed, and some of the stomach or contents are smeared on the bead. Another sheep is next marched round the inflicted village, is killed, and the people eat the meat. The bones of the sheep are afterwards collected and calcined, I don't know what that is, in the fire on which the meat was cooked. Next morning, a libation of beer being poured over the ashes of the bones by the elders of the village. A medicine man is then summoned, and he purifies the Hikia, the village, and these are finally saved from all danger from this tahu. So they take an oath, the two people who are having issues or disagreement about a death, and then the person who lies ends up dead. And when that happens, the relatives, and the brother in particular of the person who died, is forced to then make the payment. And he calls the elders and he makes the payment, and then he requests, of course, for sacrifices to be done so that that tahu, or you can say it, punishment, to be removed from their village or from their homestead. So I found that to be very interesting. This is interesting to me because, as I said, the crime of perjury is one that is, or perjury is one of those crimes that are put there, or are people are prevented from committing, because if people are allowed to say untruths when they take an oath, then the judicial process can easily fall apart and it becomes cannot be reliable. Those are my random thoughts.